Alright guys, what do we have now with price of Bitcoin? Well, first of all, we touched almost like sub $8,000 zone, and everyone who is expecting the gap on CME futures to be filled is now celebrating the win, because you see, it was filled actually. Now is the question where the Bitcoin will go from this point. Well, if you remember, we were talking about this wedge or ascending channel as a possible bearish formation, and also people in the comments mentioned that we had the divergence on RSI, bearish divergence, and it was also on the daily time frame, not only 4 hours time frame. So nicely spotted, guys. Apparently I was pretty biased looking at the bullish side of the divergences, but in any case, what we have now is that this support line was broken downwards. We had this relatively high volume. Moreover, the previous resistance at 8,400 zone, which is supposed to be a support level, also was broken downwards, and the price doesn't seem to be wanting to stop. We constantly see red candles, although we had some pullbacks, but still lower highs and lower lows, with the exclusion of this very low point at below $8,000. Well, despite all the bearishness of the situation, I wouldn't be expecting a strong correction that much, because if you look at the price, for example, here there was similar move but to the downside. Here we have the same move to the upside, and the price still remain in the same zone from like 7,600 to 8,400. This seems to be a nice zone for a sideways price action in order to let the price cool down. So we may don't need to have a very deep correction in order to continue the uptrend. Instead, we can continue going sideways, let our bleeding altcoins, again, if you remember, yesterday we were talking about altcoins, so they got some shakeout because of this drop of Bitcoin. Not dramatic though, but still a little bit painful. And also, all the way down, we have a lot of the support, a lot of the people wanting to buy at every level on the way down. So if you look at the daily time frame, first is that you will see that on Bollinger Bands, we actually touched the baseline. And pretty much every time we are touching the baseline on the rising trend, sometimes we actually go a little lower than that, but every time we are doing this, we start to grow again. Unless this is a much bigger correction, and in that case we need to switch to the weekly time frame. And on the weekly time frame, especially in the previous bull market, you can see that we reached a baseline as well, but this baseline is much lower than the baseline on the daily time frame. So at the current point, it is actually somewhere at $5,000. This is a huge correction, so actually I don't think that it is reasonable to expect that we will go there. Although again, if we will, I highly doubt that we can drop below that. Moreover, it probably will go a little higher to something like 5,500, and this was the zone which we were talking about for a while. And another reason why I'm thinking about this zone is that it is actually at the previous resistance area, which was on the way to the upside. And again, if you look at the previous bull market, then you will find such cases over and over again. So here was the resistance, it became support over here. Here was the resistance, it became support over here, and so on and so forth. For example, this one, resistance became support, resistance became support, and so on. So right now, the only one significant resistance which could become a support is this zone. We don't have like specific peak here, maybe like $5,600, but I think somewhere around this area it will be the ideal point for the drop to stop if it will be a severe one. But me personally, I doubt that it will happen because it will be too obvious to expect. And recently price moves completely in a way that most of the rational traders don't expect to happen. So instead of going to this zone, I think that it will probably stop at this red zone, which we also mentioned as the area of previous expected resistance for the price going to the upside. But since we went through that very fast, a lot of people were selling at this point. But now if the price will return to this zone, all those people will start to buy, trying to return their positions. So it's very unlikely that the price will be able to move through it. But moreover, a lot of the huge players out there probably understand that, and they wouldn't let the price to reach to this area. There's also this trend line over here, and if you look to the moving averages, then 100 days moving average is going upside to this zone. 50 days moving average is already in this red area. Also 100 weeks moving average is actually over here at around 6,700. So all those lines, all those levels would work as support, as a possible points for the pullback for the price if it will go down. So I really doubt that the price could actually even go below this area. So the closest level for the price as a support when we see at the previous resistances would be this small resistance over here, which actually already worked as a support, and this is $7,600. So in fact I would define this zone between $7,600 and $8,400 as the zone for the sideways price action for the price, and I really doubt that it could go much deeper than that. Moreover, despite we broke this support line, despite we seemingly have a breakdown from this wedge, we still have this low lower than this one. So technically, until we'll not make a new low below something like $7,800, the situation is not extremely bearish yet. And me personally, since I bought last time something like $7,200, I probably set my stop order for that position at the area of $7,400 just in order to eliminate the chance of the price will go below this previous low, in order to collect stop orders, liquidate them, which are placed just below this area. So something like $7,400, $7,300 is my stop order as a signal for the price will go even lower. So I would try to find the new entry point if the price will reach that level. And don't forget, guys, that if you look at the shorter time frame, for example 1 hour, there was a huge and sharp spike to the upside, $9,090, and then immediately after that this dropped to $8,000. So those who went short at this position were liquidated, those who went long at these positions were also liquidated. So all of that looks like just a simple manipulation, an attempt to shake out all the weak hands in the market, all the marginal traders. So if you mainly trade Bitcoin and don't use leverage, then I think you are pretty much safe. Yes, the price may have a correction, but it will be a really temporal thing. It may look scary, but it's very unlikely to return to the extremely low levels like $3,000 and below and stay there for years. It is more likely that we'll go to the new highs within a few months and have more and more gains. Okay guys, that is it for today. Safe trading. Goodbye.